Good night. It is March 15, 2025, and it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday night here in Sherbrooke. It is currently 13 degrees Celsius, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. It is so warm. I'll get into it, but it's just so warm. And it was so beautiful and sunny today. It is 9:17 p.m., so it's dark out. But if we are to trust AccuWeather.com, it is mostly cloudy. The sun this morning rose at 7 a.m. on the dot. It's set at 6:53 p.m., almost there to 7 p.m. Almost there to 12 hours of sunlight, because we are at 11 hours and 53 minutes of sunlight, if you haven't done the math in your head already. Yeah, so today was an interesting day. A lot of stuff going on. So first off, it was absolutely beautiful. It was so sunny, and sun being out and it being so warm has started to make the snow melt. So there was some wet, what is the word I'm looking for? Asphalt and concrete that I was able to observe as I was walking to work early this afternoon. But also some dry asphalt and concrete, because the sun, beautiful, beautiful shining sun, had dried a lot of it out. Yeah, I'm just sort of like overwhelmed today. So there was that, and it had been warm on some other days, but this is like the first like really truly warm and sunny day. And it was warm yesterday, but yeah, up until like yesterday, it was still like chilly enough. I had to wear like a jacket. Like as I was preparing to walk out of my apartment, I just reflexively just like put on my boots, and I decided, well, I don't need to put on my boots because there's not going to be any snow where I'm walking, and it's going to be warm. And I went out with my jacket, just like a light jacket. Even that was too warm. I was starting to sweat. And so this is the first day of the year where I have been able to walk around in a t-shirt. And so I recorded myself talking on the way to work. I think possibly about the warmth. Yeah, I was just talking about how I think what I'm about to say is like a necessary mechanism, but I think we have this tendency during the winter to sort of forget what it's like to be able to walk around without a bunch of clothing, and for it to be pleasant, for the air to be pleasant to the touch, comfortable to the touch when we're outside. But I think that's normal too. Our bodies acclimate, and then also it's just reality. It's reality we're living in, is that it's fucking cold. So once spring happens, as it does every year, it just sort of a shock, and it takes a bit of time to process that this is like actually happening, and like there is a reality, which is going to be the reality for the next few months, that it's actually pleasant to be outside. And then I got to work, and before going into work to do some janitorial work at a local music venue, as I do fairly often, I decided to check my email. And I won't go into details, but, and actually I want to be oblique just because it's, I don't know, it's a complicated situation. But I just got this email out of nowhere, which was very surprising because it came out of nowhere, but also because it will lead to some of my immediate problems being solved, and like a big, at least a part of a big eventual problem being solved. But it's just a complicated situation, right? And like, I understand that, I don't know, yeah, I don't really want to get into it, but it was just a very big and unexpected news. And, there's a part of me that's like, well, I should feel happy about this, but at the same time, I'm conflicted because of the fact that it's complicated emotionally. And then I also heard news of something else that's happening, which is bad news for a friend of mine. Not like immediately like bad news, but just like bad news in the long term that's out of anybody's control. And so that was really sad. But not totally so like that bad news, not totally unexpected. I'd sort of forgotten about it because there was like a long wait time to know about that news. And so then I went for a walk and talked some more into my telephone. Just again, more things that I'm probably never going to talk about. Never going to put out on the internet. I mean, I might someday. It still exists. And I talked to my sister on the phone, which was nice. And now I've been watching this video by Technology Connections, which I think I'm going to link it in the description. It's called "Algorithms Are Breaking How We Think," which is not a wholly original concept, to say the least. But I really like Technology Connections. It's a great channel. A lot of very, very informative but entertaining, very fascinating videos about mainly just consumer technology. And the host is very, very passionate, also very articulate, very funny. And this is another kind of content that he usually puts out, but it's something that I think I was in denial, like when it comes to the extent to which I had succumbed to this. Basically just about how he has observed, as many people have, that there's this sort of alarming, at least to me and to him, trend that a lot of people have given up their agency when it comes to interacting with information on the internet. Because I'm 35 years old, and I am old enough to remember when the internet was just accessible through dial-up. Like, I had access to the internet pretty young. I mean, I was probably I remember old Windows 95 computer with a modem at my mother's place. And given the timeline of when that house was, it must have been 6, 7, 8 years old, and going on the internet. Of course, not unsupervised, but dialing up the modem and going to websites, searching for information. Whereas what a lot of people, myself included, a lot of people, their access to the internet is just their phone. I'm not criticizing that, but it's just the reality. Most of my time on the internet is through my computer, which is in front of me. I have an unhealthy relationship with this. And I've just noticed that over the past few years, I just let, for example, YouTube or Reddit, pitchfork.com/news, just dictate what information comes to me. And of course, if I want to figure something out or find something, I will go look for it. But I find myself having less patience for that, and putting forward less and less effort to try to seek out information. And I'm at this point now, I'm just taking a break from this video, where, the host, I don't know what his name is, but he was saying so yeah, it might seem, he didn't say, what's wrong, we're hypocritical, but since he is a YouTuber and his job is making YouTube content, so all right, well, how far does it go to criticize websites like YouTube? And it's there is the subscription section, right, which has nothing to do with the algorithm. It'll just sequentially show you the videos from the channels that you subscribe to in reverse chronological order. That's all it does. There's no curation other than your own curation. And that really I've been thinking about it a lot. How I never go into my subscription tabs and I would spend time scrolling on YouTube and not having any desire to go, and then every once in a while I do, and I click, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. And so I decided, like, I'm just gonna go and like look at videos. Like, why is it not appealing to me? And so I unsubscribed from some channels because I'm like, I subscribed at some point because I was interested, but like visibly, obviously, I'm no longer interested because I don't watch any of that content. But then what was most shocking to me is I was looking up YouTube accounts that I would often watch, and I wasn't subscribed to them because I just knew that it would eventually show up in like the curated algorithmic feed. And like when I'm on my computer, I have a Reddit account, but it's just a few subreddits that I'm subscribed to. But when I'm on my phone, I look at the front page of Reddit because I don't have an account. I'm not logged into any account on my phone. And so all this like information that I'm not choosing, I'm not seeking, and it's definitely had an impact on my attention span, and yeah, just really on my motivation and my desire to seek out new information, seek out specific things. I also I'm very avoidant when I get anxious, and so and I think I've talked about this before. My relationship with my computer is based on avoidance of feelings I don't want to have, often anxiety. The irony is that it often causes me anxiety because I get stuck in these loops of just like looking at YouTube and Reddit and Pitchfork. Where I say Pitchfork, it sounds like they publish a couple articles a day and a couple reviews and stuff like that. And usually I don't even read the reviews, or definitely not the articles. I just like look at the news, but it's a part of this like rotation, just rotate and just click and click and click, and Facebook too. And I'm not like looking for anything really. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm not really absorbing that much information. I'm just stuck in this loop. I'm just trying to let these fucking websites, which in a way probably understand me better than I understand myself, because I've freely given them so much data over the years about everything I do. And, to the point where, like, I have to, and I'm getting better at it, but I've had to really just, like, force myself to just, like, go out and, like, okay, I want to watch a movie. So what movie is interesting that I would like to watch? And, like, go and find the movie and, like, watch the movie. But even then, I'll be watching the movie sometimes, and, like, especially in, like, scenes that are, like, more intense or, like, more awkward, that'll make me feel, like, a stronger emotion, or I guess often an emotion that is, I find unpleasant, which I think is important to engage with art that makes me feel, I think it's good for everybody, but at least for me, I guess I can only speak for me, but like, I think it's important for me to engage with art that makes me feel uncomfortable. It's a big part of like just being alive is having all these different emotions, right? And I find it important and enriching to engage with that kind of art. But I'll find myself like stopping it and like having to take a break and just going for my fucking pacifier, which sucks. It sucks. I am trying to dismantle these habits that I've developed. I was gonna say acquired, but no, developed, because it takes time for habits to form. And just like trying to get comfortable with that discomfort again, because I have a show coming up. By the way, I didn't do a weather report yesterday, so I didn't feel up to it. But yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of the first show I ever played. The project was called Permadeath back then, but I changed it. I don't remember when. 2018, maybe 2019. Because there were just too many metal bands and industrial music projects popping up on Spotify and whatever with the name Permadeath, and I just did not want to try to argue with these people to say like, hey, I have been using this name since 2015. So I decided to pick something that nobody would use, and nobody has used it yet, which is Daniel Cowman. But it was called Permadeath back in the day, and I played at the Shazam Fest Battle of the Bands. It's at the Bonobo Bar, which no longer exists. It's the bar attached to a youth hostel on Wellington South in Sherbrooke, Quebec, Canada. Played 3 songs, including one which I'd forgotten about this, or don't think about it often, where I played a song on acoustic guitar. The other two were electronic. I believe I played the song Alcohol and Drugs and the song Waves and Radiation. And I played it, I left the stage, the second song was Good News. And I went into the crowd and sang, and I ended up cutting myself on guitar string, just like the side of my finger, so I ended up getting blood everywhere, which is pretty nice. And then, and so now what I do is I spend most of the time during shows, if I'm not playing an instrument, which is often, in the crowd, just getting people's faces and singing into their faces. And glad that I was still trying to get off the stage and closer to people, even back then. So I've played a lot of shows since then, been in other projects, but this project, despite the name changing, it's the same project, the same philosophy and the same approach to performance. I mean, it's developed over the years, but so yeah, it's sort of trippy to think that it's been 10 years that I've been doing this. It was the first time alone on stage playing my own songs, and it was amazing, and I'm still doing it to this day, doing it on April 26th, but even then, just motivating myself to just go and start working on that show. It's difficult because I have my pacifier, right? Alcohol as well, which I'm trying to reduce. Drank less yesterday, which is good. Trying to reduce down to eventually stop. But earlier today, I was at work, and it took longer than expected. Usually I try to be out of there before the artists show up. But I really had to clean up the outside area because all the, not all, but a lot of the snow had melted. And so I needed to pick up a lot of the garbage and cigarette butts. But, I was able to help. My friend who was doing the sound, actually no, because they had their own sound engineer, but he was just there as the technician. Helped the bands loaded and stuff. And then when I was about to leave, one of the guitarists was playing just some chords, because the sound check was about to start, and it reminded me of the song Lucky Numbers by Viking Moses off of The Parts That Showed, but I would like to share with you not the version that is on The Parts That Showed, which is fantastic, and you should listen to the album The Parts That Showed by Viking Moses, which is from 2008. 2008, it appears that it's from. No, but this is from 2010, the live album, Live in the Old Kingdom. And this is the live version. It's a beautiful clarinet. You got Lord G, I believe. Lord G, who, her name is Golden Ghost, I believe. Yep, Golden Ghost. It's another interesting, good project. Don't know it as much as Viking Moses. But The Parts That Showed by Viking Moses is a concept album. I'll just let you listen to it. Just listen to it. It's fantastic. It's actually one of my favorite records of all time. But yeah, this live version, with Lord G, or Gates, I believe, singing with the clarinet. Very intense singing from Brendan Massey. Brendan Massey. I keep getting mixed up. Brendan Massey, aka Viking Moses. The studio version is a little more subdued. Not that this is a crazy explosive thing, but it's got this raw energy that I really, really appreciate. So check it out. But also, I implore you to listen to The Parts That Showed by Viking Moses. It's not really a fan of what Viking Moses has been doing over the past decade or so. However, The Parts That Showed is, I think I talked about Viking Moses before, because I believe that his album Crosses is about a romance with Scout Niblet. and they both have a connection to Jason Molina. Talked about Jason Molina before, and it was a Facebook post by Brendan Massey, Viking Moses, which is how I learned that Jason Molina died, because he posted the day that it was revealed that Jason Molina died, that, it's like, oh, it was such a pleasure to have known him. And I'm like, that means Jason Molina is dead. And then I started crying, and then I went out into the kitchen. I was living with my mother, and I cried in my mother's arms because I was so upset. Jason Molina died. And I think that was probably like 10 years ago now that he's been dead. Let me just actually check that. Almost done. I'm also putting off replying to this email that I mentioned earlier. But, no, it's been 12 years tomorrow. Holy shit. March 16th, 2013. Guess I'll have to talk about Jason Molina tomorrow. Later tonight. It's going to stay warm. At 10 p.m., 10 degrees Celsius, 49 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to stay cloudy. Fully cloudy this time. 11 p.m. till the end of the day, 9 degrees Celsius, 48 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not going to peak at tomorrow, but I'm hoping it's going to be this morning, because, it feels good. It feels so good. I was just overwhelmed with emotions as well. Sometimes, when spring rolls around, I start to hurt how beautiful and pleasant it is. I guess I'll get more into it tomorrow. I've already been speaking for 22 minutes. The duration of the sitcom, minus commercials. All right. Today was filled with beautiful blue skies and golden sunshine all along the way for the first time in a while. And I hope that wherever you are, you have the same experience or similar experience, or if not, can find some simulacrum of that within yourself. Everyone, have a great night.